as we go along. At the point today is to just give you a really good overview of what the Lego Serious Play methodology is, how we've been applying it in organizations over, I don't know if it's 17 or 18 years, I lose track of the maths. So we want to share this with you and then see for yourselves whether there would be any application or any way in which you could use it in your own particular context and in the way in which you operate. It obviously is a unique methodology. It does require a little bit of training in order to be able to apply it effectively, but that's where we at MCI come into it, and obviously here to guide you and to assist you along the way. We are going to be recording the session, and after the session we'll have the recording for you, and we'll have some of the slides available for you, and we'll have a link for you. So we will send you everything. We will upload the slides onto YouTube at the end so that you've got access to it, or if you want to share it with other people who haven't been able to attend today or others in the organization. So I'm going to get started and officially welcome everyone to the session. It's great to have you join us. I just want to acknowledge, or MCI acknowledges the lands and waters of the country we meet today, that on today they've been care of traditional custodians for thousands of years. We pay respect to the elders of local people, past and present, and to emerging leaders. MCI acknowledges and extends respect to people from all cultures and diverse identities who walk on this country. So what we'll be covering today is a little bit about the background of the Lego Serious Play method. I'll be looking at what makes it so powerful. I'll be sharing with you some of the use cases for when to use Lego Serious Play and when not to. And as I say, please play along with us. And we'll end the session by giving you some examples of and some idea about how you can get trained. So please, it's engaging, interactive. Don't let me talk to the brick wall. Please keep typing into chat. I love lots of applause and some good emojis going. So I'll just give you a little bit of background about why I use Lego Serious Play. And we introduced it into Australia many, many years ago. In fact, in 2004, I don't know what the maths is on that, how many years ago it was. And at that stage, we owned the license for Australia. It was done on a sort of license basis around the world. And Lego at that point invited me to become one of the 4 master trainers in the world of using this Lego Serious Play process. So besides all the other qualifications that I had, I mean, I've been on this planet a while, so I have a few qualifications and written a few books as well. They took me around the world training me and getting me up to the level of master trainer. After that, they decided that the method should go open source, and they gifted the method to the world, which I think is quite an amazing contribution from an organization to give this to the world. So I'm hoping that people have played Lego, still play Lego, have kids who play Lego. If you can also give me a few thumbs up, grandkids who play with the bricks. And I'm sure that, you know, over the years, obviously, Lego has become very much a household name, generally associated with children. And in fact, coming up in June is the International Day of Play, which Lego has really been promoting for. So you would think to yourself, well, you know, why does a major brand like Lego that has such a strong focus on the children's market, why would they start to introduce something called Lego Serious Play, which is the corporate application of using the Lego bricks? And if you think back to the late 1990s, Lego as a company wasn't doing as well as it is today. It was struggling a bit. It certainly wasn't the multi-billion dollar brand that it is right now. And so they called on two consultants, Johan Roos and Bart Victor. If you look up those two names, you'll see them associated with the origins of the Lego Serious Play. And they said to Lego, you know, you are using this method of using the manipulatives in people's hands. It's helping people be more creative. It's helping them come up with ideas. It's helping them feel a lot happier about things because it's bringing to mind some of the joy that they experienced as children. It's also helping them to come into a state of flow. And state of flow is, in fact, quite an important part of Lego Serious Play because it's that it's that moment where you're in the zone. You're in that flow of feeling where you don't notice time going by. You don't notice that, you've had struggles or challenges during the day. That's the state that you want your team to be in because that's when you're going to get the best method out of them. And so over time, the Lego group formalized this method of using the bricks for corporate purposes into a methodology that they then trademarked called Lego Serious Play. And Serious Play is quite, I think a good name for it because it is playful and yet there is a very serious side to it as well, which I find, in fact, the most powerful part of it. So what is unique about Lego Serious Play and what is different about it in terms of just using Lego bricks? And in a Lego Serious Play session, there is a process. There are certain principles that you follow, although it's very adaptable and it is very flexible according to different environments and contexts, and in fact, it's used all over the world in so many different cultures, it still follows a certain process and has guidelines and what I call certain golden rules that you abide by. What it is not is just taking some bricks and maybe building, sorry, sometimes I use the Duplo size bricks so that you can see it a bit clearer, and building a process. Or some of you might have used the bricks for communication games or various other types of games that have a message. That isn't Lego Serious Play. Lego Serious Play has a purpose, has a message, and achieves different outcomes. And that's the exciting part of it, is that you can adapt your session plan to suit the outcome that you want to achieve. And I've put some of those outcomes up on the screen for you. For example, you want a better, more engaged team. We've had the COVID, we're working from home, various other challenges, teams lose energy. Bring out the bricks, bring out the Lego Serious Play process, and wow, you'll be quite amazed at what can be achieved. There could be teams setting goals for the year, creating strategic plans, onboarding new team members, kickstarting a project. I'm just listing on the screen, and then you're all welcome to take screenshots, but we will send you the slides as well. It's anything where you want people to really come together and talk and communicate in a very different way. It's fantastic for value statements. It helps with change processes. And it does absolutely start, I think I've missed one slide here, sorry. It does start with the individual and eventually build into what we call these types of shared landscapes. So it's a way of always making sure that 100% of the people build and 100% of the people tell a story of what they have built. That to me, if that just occurs in a session, you already have a completely different atmosphere. How many of you have sat in the Zoom and the team sessions time and again? you turn off the camera, like a bit like what we're doing today, turn off the microphone, hammer away at doing your own emails or look at Facebook, whatever else it is, and you're maybe not getting the best ideas. You're not getting the best contribution through storytelling of what people are really thinking and what their ideas are. And we all know that if we don't have that full inclusivity, it's not necessarily the case that you will come to the best solution. So as I've been emphasizing, it is based on individual model building. There are no instructions. There's no right or wrong. It's not about being the best builder and using the most sophisticated bricks. Yes, if they're great builders, like some of you seem to be very involved in using Lego, yes, the models will appear to be better. But it is about the meaning you give to what you have built and about the story that you tell. So nobody can interpret somebody else's model for them. For me, this model might represent the way in which I see myself in the world, that I'm only operating right now on 2 engines that are spinning, but I've turned it around and I still am very happy to face the future. That might be my story, but you could look at the same model and have a different sense of what it would be. But you cannot interpret that story for someone else. You allow that person to tell the story, and after they've told the story, that's when you would be able to ask questions. So it certainly brings in as well listening skills, because people are building, they're giving meaning, they're talking, they're sharing, others are listening, others are asking questions. And so it's not a literal structure. You're not building a better aeroplane or Harry Potter's castle. That's not what's happening here. You're building metaphorical, non-literal models that are in response to questions like, what are the strengths you bring to the team? How do you see yourself on the team? What's a company value that resonates with you? What personal goals you have? How do you see the goals of the team? How do you see the future of the team, the future of the organization? What sort of vision do you have? And the list of those questions is endless. It depends on what you would like to achieve in your particular session. I hope this is making sense for everyone in terms of it being individual model building that, yes, do come together eventually into a landscape or a super story, but it starts with the individual. It focuses on the story that each person tells and includes listening and giving meaning in a metaphorical way, not in a literal way at all. So naturally, the session does need to be facilitated by someone who is a little bit skilled in structuring the session, because you don't want to push people into the deep end. They'll be right out of flow. They'll think, oh, what's going on here? I'm not creative. I don't know how to do this. But if you take them gently through the process, following the rules, not laughing at people's models, not interpreting it for them, you'll see that this group gets into flow and starts building the most incredible stories that even just simple little bricks together suddenly tell a hugely fascinating story, where people say why they've used yellow, what the red brick represents, why they put an eye on the brick as well. And something that you wouldn't expect, because it's their story to tell. And I don't have to emphasize for you as well the power of storytelling, which is also quite incredible. And as I'm doing it here for you in a virtual way, on a team session, you can absolutely do it virtually as well as in person. Obviously, in person is the dream, but there are certain parts of the Lego Serious Play methodology that can be done in on a team event as well, because you can imagine people's eyes lighting up and doing something different instead of another PowerPoint slide or another spreadsheet that's up on the screen. So I'm hoping that that's sort of, it's hard to picture. It is a little bit of a sort of leap of faith into this process, because people say, well, where's a video of it? I need to see a video of it. But that's not always possible, because I mean, you wouldn't like somebody videoing your private session where you're setting your values, or trying to come up with team guiding principles. You wouldn't want that videoed and put necessarily onto the internet. But without doubt, where the gift is of the Lego Serious Play method that has now been made open source and given to the world, is that you're going to find things are so much more memorable. We ran many, many years ago, we ran sessions for Qantas, who were introducing new sets of values for their team members. And we had literally hundreds of their staff coming through sessions. People were pushing each other out the way to get into the Lego Serious Play session. That's a story for another day. But ultimately, those messages embedded so deeply that when you bumped people afterwards on a flight or somewhere, and I said to him, have you been, were you one of the people in the Lego Serious Play session? They proceeded to tell me their story. I had no idea who they were or what, I couldn't remember what they looked like, but they remembered. It was embedded. They had used their hands to construct the models. They had given it meaning. They'd told the story. They'd repeated the story. And obviously, that was a way of embedding it for them. So it's a very versatile method, as I said earlier. I'll just give you a couple of other examples of where we've used it so successfully. Is first of all for building better teams. It really comes into its own around team building, because it starts fun. Yeah, we got the bricks and everybody's happy. But then it becomes a lot deeper and a lot more serious. And our saying is, yes, the teams who play together do tend to stick together, because if they're new teams, for example, at SAP, we did it at Canon, they're new teams, they've got to get to know each other fast, they've got to get the project underway, they've got to know roles and responsibilities, they want to be energized, they want to set these guiding principles to move them forward. What a fabulous way to do it. Yes, it does eventually get to pen and paper at some point, because not every company will pay for the bricks and to keep the bricks. But it is a way of, if you think about it, using all these techniques in a session that is planned, you're going to achieve quite an incredible outcome. We've also used it in the past at Microsoft. Also, a few years ago, they were very focused on bringing more women into technology, probably also something that's needed. So as part of diversity and inclusion programs, the big question that was asked is, come up with ideas about how might we attract more women into the field of technology. In fact, also thinking about diversity and inclusion, we did it at Allianz Insurance as well, is thinking about, well, what can we do to reduce barriers to exclusivity and making people feel more inclusive. And as the people are building, as they are structuring their models, as they are telling their ideas, they become richer, deeper, and more meaningful stories. We've used it at HP, at Coca-Cola as well, in terms of change, because if you think about it, people are able to express themselves more freely. And you're including every single person in the room around what do they see the end point of the change? What is their vision for the end? What are the challenges along the way that they have to overcome? And once everybody's in flow and once they are talking, they even surprise themselves about the depth of examples that they are giving. onboarding we've done in many organizations as well. I'm thinking of Metcash in the past and various other companies where you want people to feel part of something. You want them to do more than just, oh, let me do my compliance modules and another one to do and the quiz question. Here it is really getting to grips with your role in the organization. What do you bring to a team? What is your interpretation and understanding of company values, and done through the bricks and not through a lecture does make an enormous difference, of course. We've run this as well. If anybody's got any large conferences coming up, the perfect use case for Lego Serious Play is for conferences and very large events. You can picture people standing up, getting to know each other, talking about what they want to achieve out of the conference, or at the end, what were their light bulb moments, what were their big ahas, what do they want to take away with them at the end of the event. Very effective. They're never going to forget that. Deeply embedded as well as a way of sharing with others. Coaches, we have quite a few coaches who are trained. Obviously, that's used then in one-on-one, talking about career goals as well, talking about where they see themselves a year from now, how they're going to get to that point. So we do have quite a few coaches who have been trained as well. So just a quick check-in with everyone. If you'd like to type into chat, if you can think of cases in your own particular context where you could see value for this, if there's something that you think that might be somewhere where it might be applicable, please type into chat. I'm also happy to stay on the line after the session and answer any questions. Fabulous example there, Simon, a personal branding. Absolutely ideal for that. Yes, yes, yes. In some cases in a session like that, you might ask people to draw things, and they don't like the drawing side. But the bricks, no problem. Eyes light up, hands get on the bricks, and away they go. And that's a fantastic example. Product discovery, absolutely another very, very good one. Grad programs, yes, thank you, Amy, for mentioning grad programs. I hadn't put that in the slides. Roles, absolutely. Yes, 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 Cam. I love it for new teams, understanding roles and responsibilities. I just did a webinar somewhere about the difference it makes if teams are bonded and know their roles. Collaborative contracts, yes, yes, yes. I don't think you guys actually need me because you've totally nailed all those types of content. Leading through change, totally a great one with that. So please keep typing questions into chat as well. I'll go through some of the questions that we usually get asked, but very happy to have some of the questions from your side. And the first question people ask us is about the bricks. So the Lego Shop at Home store does have its own sort of packs of bricks that have been chosen specifically for using Lego Serious Play because they are metaphorical. There's, they've got more of the little minifigs. They've got some of the fun pieces, but people who have bricks at home do mix some in, and obviously the size of the bricks depends on the size of the group, and we're happy to help you with that. I did mention as well when not to use Lego Serious Play, and that is just for sort of games. Have I frozen? For games, not the best. They just buy bricks and play the Lego games. Or if you're setting out a process, then just set out the process. You don't need to be trained in using Lego Serious Play. So just consider that, if you do want to learn the methodology. We also get asked about how long is a Lego Serious Play session. So generally speaking, you need about an hour at least, but it can go the whole day. Sometimes it can go 2 days. So I don't know if anybody mentioned that you can use it in training sessions as well at the start of the day or the end of the day. So it can be used in shorter spurts. But if you want to get people building and do a little bit of the landscaping where the models come together, then you do need, I would say, at least an hour, if not an hour and a half. Yes, there are companies as well who don't want to play. You do have to accept that sometimes you are going to come up against a bit of resistance. Why are you putting bricks out? I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. I remember we've been doing this for, I don't know, what did we say, 18 years, 19 years. So if they just don't want to play and everything has to be serious and, they don't want this element of fun, and it does become more than fun, as I said earlier. Don't bash your head too hard against the brick wall. Just move along, because sometimes, unfortunately, there's no convincing. So is able to be delivered virtually? Absolutely. And without question, if you do have, a Teams or a Zoom session, the only challenge is getting the bricks to people. So there is a little bit more of a logistics challenge, but the participants are really happy that they've got something different to do and that they can have more meaningful conversations. Absolutely. And Amy, thank you for that question. I will speak to you about that. So obviously, we would prefer people to be trained. I mean, you could, I suppose, just watch a few sort of YouTube videos, but we would prefer people to be trained so that they can apply it. They know the theory. I never even mentioned the theory that sits behind it, but there is a substantial amount of theory around constructionism, instructionism. And yes, you want to structure a session so that it comes with a positive outcome. And absolutely, thank you for that question as well, Suzanne. Yes, it's perfect for reflective work. We've had people come to training sessions to learn how to use the methodology and gone back home and really reflected on things. One Benson is now leaving her job, so that wasn't the outcome we had hoped for, but they practice it with their families as well, and it's quite interesting what insights families come up with as well. Obviously, we would prefer people to be certificated, and we do issue you with your certification because it's a great way of publicizing that you have different skills, marketing yourself differently, and a great way of doing professional development. We'd obviously love you to be trained by MCI, seeing we were the first on the block and part of the master trainer process as well. And we've really tried to structure the program so that it's practical and that you have a lot of insight and you're able to go out and really implement it immediately. We don't want this just to be another certificate for LinkedIn or just to sit on a shelf. I don't know which shelf they sit on anymore if you're not in the office, but obviously it does need to be more than that. I mean, I hope that that's given you a little bit of a sense of it. I really am just touching the top of the iceberg of it, and there's a lot more substance and a lot more of the detail that does sit behind it. And I'm very happy to answer more questions or to give you a bit of time. If you want a separate meeting, very welcome to email and set up a separate time, or just type a few more questions into chat to check that it does in fact sit with what you want to achieve. Because if it's going to be something where you're just giving a presentation and you don't really want people's ideas, Lego Serious Play is not for that type of situation. It's when you want all the ears, all the hands, the full engagement, the full contribution. That's when you start bringing out the bricks. And we hope that when you're trained, you're able to use the bricks in different situations. And that would be, obviously really fantastic. And Suzanne, we've got lots to send you. Thank you for segueing us into the next few slides, because we do have a lot of information for you. After the session today, we'll send you links to blogs, to information if you'd like to be trained in using Lego Serious Play. We'll give you the slides as well. And if you want any further information, you'll be able to contact us as well. If you don't follow me or MCI on LinkedIn, there's another little action for you to do. And please, as we'll stay online here, if there are people who need to go, thank you so much for participating. And oh, Andrew just did the certification. Oh, fantastic, Andrew. Thank you. I hope we gave you a good way now of publicizing and marketing it in your organization. That was great. I'm very happy to hear that you out there, and I hope you're using it. Thanks, Annalie, as well. Please, it can't just be something that sits on a shelf. The bricks have got to be out there. They could even just be in meetings and just getting people to fiddle and use the manipulatives. Already you encouraging them to talk in a different way. So please don't keep those bricks hidden in cupboards, bring them out. And the same applies, in fact, for your children. And yes, and Andrew does, although, joking, he does mention a serious point that some organizations see themselves as a little bit more serious. And we do have to accept and acknowledge where they are at the moment. But don't give up trying, don't give up doing short sessions, doing them in little ways, introducing them in onboarding. Do it in a small way, just to show that yes, it is fun to start with, but it does become serious. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you so much to everyone to do it. And Lisa, I forgot that you were in a session. Okay, yes, definitely very, very memorable. Oh, we got so many alumni here. Gosh, I think we definitely need that community to get going again. We do have a community on LinkedIn, but I think we've been a little bit slow in pushing it. Thanks, Amy, for prodding us as always. So yes, I think we need to reactivate that and get a little bit more energy into it. And if there are people who are qualified or certificated already, you're also welcome to join the Facebook group as well. I'm the administrator, or one of the administrators of the Facebook group. So please join us. I can't remember even what it's called. Does anyone remember what the Facebook group is called? It also needs a little bit of a dusting off and a little bit of a brush up. But it's quite interesting to see how people around the world are adapting the methodology and how they're using it in different contexts. So